The Pastimes is brought to you by Prairie Knights Casino and Resort.
The military service of Crazy Horse as a U.S. military scout. This is The Pastimes, your news from the edge of history. For an account of the life of Crazy Horse, there are several books from which to choose at your local library, but I would personally recommend A Lakota History, The Journey of Crazy Horse by Joseph Marshall III, Crazy Horse, Strange Man of the Oglalas by Marie Sandoz, Crazy Horse and Custer, The Parallel Lives of Two American Warriors by Stephen Ambrose, and Crazy Horse, A Lakota Life by Kingsley M. Bray. Tashunka Witko, Crazy Horse, was a phenomenal and charismatic war leader in his time. This is the story of his last month, when life on the northern Great Plains was as confusing and uncertain as it was turbulent and violent. In May 1877, nearly a full year following the last great victory of the Great Sioux Nation against General Custer and the 7th Cavalry, many Lakota had journeyed to their agencies, others fled north to Canada with Sitting Bull, and nearly all the great Lakota leaders had exchanged their nomadic way of living for a sedentary one. Some were tired of running, others were tired of being hungry, still more were tired of seeing loved ones die. Crazy Horse came to the conclusion that there was no possible way for the Lakota to ever be rid of the Americans. The sacred Black Hills were lost, and the bison were nearly gone. Author Joseph Marshall III says that the only reassurance the Lakota people had was they would be alive when they turned themselves into the agencies. On May 6, 1877, Crazy Horse came in to exchange one lifestyle for another for the good of his people. On a flat a few miles north of Camp Robinson, Nebraska, Crazy Horse met with Lieutenant William H. Clark. Upon meeting the lieutenant, Crazy Horse extended his left hand and said to Clark, "Friend, I shake with this hand because my heart is on this side. The right hand does all manner of wickedness. I want this peace to last forever." While at Camp Robinson, several officers and the Indian agent James Irwin tried to convince Crazy Horse to make a journey to Washington and meet the Great Father. They were nearly successful. The purpose of that journey was for Crazy Horse to meet the president and receive authorization to establish his own agency either in the Beaver Creek country near present-day Gillette, Wyoming, or close to the Bighorn Mountains near present-day Sheridan, Wyoming. Contenders for authority of the Lakota people immediately worked to convince Crazy Horse that going to Washington was not in the best interest of his people and were rewarded when Crazy Horse suddenly decided not to go. In addition to being harassed by officers to go and his distractors to stay, news came from the Northwest that Chief Joseph and the Nez Perce were fighting and winning a running battle against Colonel Nelson Miles, and they were planning to join Sitting Bull and the Northern Lakota across the Canadian border. Lieutenant Clark quickly enlisted as many Lakota people as possible to assist the military against the Nez Perce. Crazy Horse told Clark, "I came here for peace, no matter that if my own relatives pointed a gun at my head and ordered me to change that word, I would not change it." Eventually, Lieutenant Clark pestered Crazy Horse to enlist as Sergeant Red Cloud and Sergeant Spotted Tail had done. A beleaguered Crazy Horse relented one day to Clark in the presence of two interpreters, Gerard and Louis Bordeaux, saying, "We came in for peace. We are tired of war and talking of war. From back when Conquering Bear was still with us, we have been lied to and fooled by the whites, and here it is the same. But still we want to do what is asked of us, and if the Great Father wants us to fight, we will go north and fight until not a Nez Perce is left." One of the interpreters misinterpreted Crazy Horse's words, saying that instead Crazy Horse would fight until there were no more white people left. Crazy Horse enlisted, and rumors swirled rampantly about Crazy Horse's intention to kill every white person. On September 2nd, 1877, General Crook came to Camp Robinson to pick up his detachment of Oglala Lakota scouts. Crook left on September 4th, exasperated with the rumblings that Crazy Horse wanted him dead, or that Crazy Horse would start another war. Crazy Horse didn't go with Crook to bring in the Nez Perce and urged the rest of the Oglala detachment of scouts not to go as well. According to the Post-Surgeon's report, Crazy Horse had his fill of strawberries and cream on September 3rd and was incapacitated with the sour gut, effectively removing himself from Crook's command whether or not he wanted to go. General Crook ordered Crazy Horse arrested, but he fled north to Spotted Tail Agency. The next day, September 5th, 1877, Crazy Horse was escorted back to Camp Robinson. Once there, he was taken to the adjutant's office where one of Red Cloud's warriors shouted loudly enough for all to hear that Crazy Horse was supposed to have been a brave man, but was now a coward. Crazy Horse lunged after the anonymous warrior, but Little Big Man grabbed him by the arms and held him back. When they reached Colonel Bradley's office, the colonel ordered Crazy Horse arrested and taken to the guardhouse. What happened next is a tragedy. It is also a foggy mess of confusion. Some claim that a soldier killed Crazy Horse. Others say that Little Big Man played a part in the assassination of Crazy Horse. Accounts say that a hawk circling above mournfully cried out, perhaps in honor of this fallen man. Amongst Crazy Horse's last words, some were said to be, "Let me go, my friends, you have hurt me enough." The soldiers carried Crazy Horse back to the guardhouse, but Touch the Clouds, Crazy Horse's cousin, intervened, saying he was a great chief and he cannot be put into a prison. And he picked him up and he carried Crazy Horse to Colonel Bradley's bed, where he died an hour later.